What's up everyone, Brian Phobos here. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and where it's going. So to point back to a video that I made on February 12th, 2018, that was after there was the big Mt. Gox sell-off of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, and it really crashed the prices. You know, basically I did this video, and one of the things I said at the time, I said, I've hedged my risk with about 9% new bits and increasing because I'm converting Steam-backed dollars to new bits and stacking them, waiting for the lower lows. So one of the things that I talked about in this video was that in the last two crashes, we had lower lows after the initial crash. And that's one of the things that I was kind of waiting for here with this bubble. So if we go back, this is in early 2013, and this is when Cyprus stole money from their citizens, and it went up and it went pop, and then this thing played out, and then we ended up having a lower low than this initial crash. Again, if you look at the more relevant example would be the last 2013-2014 cycle, and this one played out for a very long time, and you can say that this was low and then we had this low. This is where we thought we were safe back then, and this was April, May time frame. And when it popped back up in the 600s, I remember this being up in the 650s and feeling like, oh good, okay, we're safe, this is gonna stabilize. And then it was like, nope. So it drew out and it went for more than 400 days before it hit a low of around $176 on January 5th of 2015. And that 2015 was very brutal. It was a nuclear winter, and 2016 wasn't that exciting either. In 2016, we mainly just had the DAO hack, which caused the Ethereum Classic fork, and we had Steemit came out. Those are the main two things that happened in 2016. 2017, we came back alive, and this thing just blew all our minds, because about the time we're thinking, man, it might go to 10,000. This is insane. It might go to 10,000. Then it went to 20,000. It was like, whoa. So anyway, now we've had this draw out, and it crashed extremely fast. About the time we were getting the party, the freaking party cups out and getting the beer ready and everything, then this thing popped in our eye and it was down. Went actually clear down to 5,900. This isn't really showing them. It was really zoomed in enough. But now we've hit this lower low. We've hit the lower low, so it's like, where are we going now? Now, personally, and again, I know I'm showing a chart, but we're not doing, RSI. We're not, looking at, all these indicators and drawing lines and all this kind of stuff. Really, when it boils down to it, none of that's really going to work. We're looking at this from a historical standpoint of, that these last two hit lower lows. Now we've hit a lower low here. So personally, I feel just from people's sentiment and just kind of seeing the way people act, they're very, very finicky. And those are people who have been in the space for a while and people who are newer. They're very, very finicky, and when this thing goes up for a couple days, they breathe a sigh of relief, and then when it comes back down real hard, it's just, like today is a really bad day. And, we're sitting here on July 10th, and, and then it's just like, ooh, maybe this thing's going down. So I feel like this is just my personal opinion, that we're on this teeter-totter situation still, and we've been like this for a couple weeks, where I feel like it could just as easily go down to 3,500 as it could, stabilize and go on up to 7,000 or 8,000 and kind of get a little bit more stabilization. I feel like it could easily just do both of those scenarios. But one of the things that's different about this crash versus back here is we had so much more money coming in from crowdfunding, like ICOs, which 90 to 95% of the ICOs were scams. They didn't really get anything done. That was sort of to be expected. So it's like very hard to pick, which projects were going to do something. And even the ones that are getting stuff done, even the positive news isn't necessarily going to help them in this kind of a market. But they do have the funding to continue to pay salaries and continue to develop and continue to market and all that stuff. And so they can make it through this long drawn out thing, even if it's 400 days. You raise, $10 million, $20 million, $30 million, $40 million. If you don't just completely blow that, then you can ride it out. And that's one of the differences. Back here, we didn't have that kind of a situation. So it was a lot of people working on their spare times on these projects. And then when the money went away, it just kind of turned into a ghost town. Everybody was exhausted. It was just hard to kind of keep up with the news. It's just like, man, this is rough. So I really feel like we're at a teeter point. We're still at this teeter point where it could go lower and stuff. But if you look at the all-time highs, like percentage from the all-time highs, and this website is ATHcoinindex.com, so all-time high coinindex.com. You'll see the percentage from where we're at. So like Bitcoin, we're 68% lower than the all-time high, which in the 2013-2014 boom cycle, we actually fell 85% of the low that we hit in January of 2015. So it's 85. Now, obviously, if we go down to 5,000, it's 75% reduction in price. And so we could potentially go down there, 5,000 and stuff, but it's hard for me to conceive that it could burst open and go down to 3,000 or 3,500, but it could. It very well could, and I'm just as mentally prepared for that as I'm prepared for it to stabilize. Now, if a lot of times altcoins could potentially fall 90 to 95%, and maybe even a little bit more. Like, for instance, NIM has fallen 92%. NEO has gotten hit extremely hard as well. I want to average down on this. There's no new coins for NEO. There's no mining, because you're essentially doing your own mining the way it's set up. So anyway, it's lost 93% of its value. That's atrocious. It's vicious. We're getting hit again today really hard. So, but to even see this stuff that's, established, Litecoin, 79%, that's crazy. So how much lower could it go? Could it go lower? Yeah, all these could go lower. And this chart looks fugly. There's no way around that. That looks fugly. And you could just imagine it just going pop, and being clear down, just keep going down here. Or it stabilizes and big money doesn't want to miss out on the next boom. So one of the things that's kind of funny to me is I see people who were either new to the space or they've been in the space for a long time. And I keep hearing this, that they don't think that any of this is going to do this again. And it's kind of funny to me, because it's like, okay, we had, a boom over here in 2011. Then we had one in early 2013. And then we had one, in late 2013, early 2014. And then we had this one in, 2017 and early 2018. And, it's kind of like there's a pattern here. We're always hit a higher high, and the base floor always gets higher. So we stair step up. We keep stair stepping up. Imagine it being like a snowball that's going down a mountain. While it's rolling, it's picking up more and more people who get interested in this and want to invest and want to, either from a speculative investment standpoint, or from the technology, or a combination thereof. And as that snowball rolls, there's going to be pieces that are going to fly off, and those are the people who maybe got kind of washed out and then they never come back. They never come back to crypto. But this last surge is further confirmation that this whole pattern will continue. And it just reaffirms itself. It gains a larger stronghold, and there will be people who will get washed out. There's going to be people who aren't going to stick around for the next boom. But if you can somehow ride it out, keep your positions, and if you're feeling all kinds of pain, I understand. And if you're losing a lot of sleep over it and that kind of stuff, definitely evaluate, your situation in crypto. It is not a good feeling for any of us who have been around for a long time. It's not a good feeling for anybody. But what I would say is, do everything you can to keep earning and accumulating more crypto right now, whether it's the EOS airdrops, whether it's the Steam blockchain. One of the things Papa Pepper, one of the kind of most famous bloggers on the Steam platform, is he says it's really hard to blog low. People talk about buying low and selling high, but it's hard to blog low because let's say I spend a couple hours doing some video or some post and I earn $8 or I earn $10, then it's kind of like, well, what did I just spent a couple hours, what I earned like $4 an hour or something. But then it's just like, well, what if this triples or quadruples in price? And then like the situation's different. And that's kind of what happened to him. He blogged when the prices were in the dumps, like, 10, 20 cents per Steam. And then it shot up over $2 per Steam. And then, he pretty much set himself up for, a long duration, is able to kind of get through these valleys and keep blogging and stuff like that. And so, is that going to happen for everybody? Not necessarily, but there's opportunities out there. Like I said, the EOS airdrops. Maybe you play video games all the time. Maybe DLive, this is on the Steam blockchain, dlive.io. You can play video games and potentially get paid Steam for playing video games. You've got, obviously, you got Steemit, you got busy.org, you got Steepshot, which is an Instagram clone. So you've got these different potential ways that you can earn, through this thing. Also, another one, Komodo, you could do some staking with Komodo. You could do staking with Neo. It's a little bit hard to mine right now because anybody with GPUs in the United States, you're probably not profitable GPU mining right now, unless you're in a free power situation or some kind of special situation. So if you're in another part of the world, like maybe Argentina or something, and it's winter, then maybe you can cool the house with a GPU or something. So I don't know. Just keep looking for opportunities. Don't put your head in the sand. If you're watching this video, then at least, you're caring enough to kind of like keep on board, keep looking at this stuff, keep researching, and don't just like hide in your closet and eat a bucket of ice cream. And some people, they're just not cut out for it. I've told people about DLive who play video games all the time. It turns out they're a man baby and they'll just play the video game for free instead of playing the video game on here and live stream and potentially make money playing the video game they're already going to play. Another thing too, I forgot to mention this, is actually the Steam Poker League. I didn't bring it up right now, but let's see, Steam Poker League. Steam Poker League, there are free rolls. So if you like to play poker, you do online poker, you could potentially be doing that and learning a little bit of Steam. So there's actually a different website associated with this, but just look up Steam Poker League and there's free rolls and stuff like that. So, anyway, that's a potential avenue as well. And keep your eye out for airdrops, forks, any situation where you can maybe, stake coins or masternode situations like, you got smart cash, smart nodes. That's potential. It's something I'm into. So anyway, guys, that's my synopsis. We're at kind of a teeter-totter point with this thing. We have hit the lower lows, but really when it boils down to it, nobody knows how low this thing's going to go or how long the draw period is going to be. But I can pretty much with certainty tell you that we will hit higher highs than this. And it's going to blow our minds, just like this peak blew our minds when this thing went over 1,000. And when this thing went over 20,000, it blew our minds. The next peak is going to blow our minds just as much or more. So anyway, that's my synopsis. Do what you got to do. Anyway, follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, Twitter, Instagram, Steemit, YouTube. See you guys later.